Admiral Kate Morrison stood in the hidden command center, 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean. A massive room buzzed with activity as hundreds of human technicians worked at glowing screens. Above them, the world believed Earth was weak and helpless. The truth was very different. 50 years had passed since aliens first visited Earth. The Galactic Federation had welcomed humanity with polite smiles and gentle condescension. They saw humans as useful workers, nothing more. Earth's industrial capacity seemed limited to small civilian ships and basic manufacturing. The alien council members often joked about the primitive humans who barely qualified for Federation. Membership. Kate smiled at their ignorance. If only they knew what humanity had really been building. "Admiral, we have an update from New Terra," said Captain Jake Sullivan's voice through the communication system. His ship was positioned in the Void Sector, a region of space the aliens considered worthless. To their sensors, New Terra appeared to be just another dead planet floating in the darkness. "Report, Captain," Kate replied, watching the holographic display that showed the true scope of humanity's secret project. "Construction is proceeding on schedule. The outer shell maintains perfect planetary camouflage. All weapon systems are operational and hidden beneath the synthetic rock formations. The aliens still think we're just a barren world with no strategic value." Kate nodded with satisfaction. New Terra was humanity's first planet-sized warship, a marvel of engineering that took 20 years to complete. From the outside, it looked like any other lifeless rock floating through space. Inside, it contained enough firepower to destroy entire fleets. Dr. Lisa Park approached Kate with a tablet in her hands. As head of the camouflage division, Lisa had solved the most difficult problem of the entire project. How do you hide a weapon the size of a planet? "The quantum masking technology is working perfectly," Lisa reported. "Energy signatures are completely hidden. Even if alien ships scan us directly, they only detect natural geological formations. The fake mineral deposits we planted are reading exactly as expected." Kate remembered the early days when this seemed impossible. Humanity had been dismissed as technologically inferior, useful only for manual labor in Federation mining operations. The aliens never suspected that humans were studying their technology, learning their weaknesses, and developing countermeasures. "What about our mining operations?" Kate asked. "All proceeding normally," Lisa smiled. "The aliens think we're just extracting basic materials from dead systems. They have no idea we're actually gathering resources to build more planet ships." In another part of the command center, communications specialist Ryan Davis monitored alien transmissions. The Federation's arrogance made them careless with their communications. They never bothered to encrypt messages when discussing primitive species like humanity. "Admiral, we're receiving the weekly report from Ambassador Zeth Kar," Ryan announced. Kate listened as the alien ambassador's voice filled the room. Zeth Kar was addressing the Federation Council, his tone dripping with superiority. The humans remained completely compliant and pose no military threat whatsoever. Their industrial capacity is limited to basic civilian vessels. "I recommend we continue using Earth as a source of cheap labor while denying their requests for advanced technology. They are useful workers, but lack the intelligence for true spacefaring civilization." Several human technicians chuckled at the alien's words. If only Zeth Kar knew he was speaking from a space station that could be vaporized in seconds by human weapons hidden throughout the system. Kate turned to Dr. Kevin White, who was reviewing technical specifications on a nearby screen. Kevin led the weapons development team and had created systems that surpassed anything in the Federation arsenal. "How are the new installations progressing?" Kate asked. "Beautifully," Kevin replied. "We've completed the stellar manipulation devices. On New Terra, Captain Sullivan can now move his ship using gravitational controls while maintaining the appearance of a drifting asteroid. The planet-cracking missiles are fully operational. and the shield systems can withstand direct hits from anything the Federation currently possesses. Kate walked to the main viewing screen that showed Earth's official military installations. To alien observers, humanity's defenses looked pathetic. A few outdated orbital platforms, some patrol ships that were decades behind Federation technology, and ground-based weapons that wouldn't stop a determined merchant vessel. General Claire. Roberts maintained this careful illusion. As Earth's official military commander, Claire ensured that alien inspectors saw exactly what humanity wanted them to see. During their visits, human forces appeared barely capable of defending their own planet. The Corvin inspection team left. Yesterday, Claire reported through the communication system. They were impressed by our compliance with Federation military limitations. They actually complimented us on our peaceful nature. Kate almost laughed. The Corvin inspectors had stood on Earth's surface while being surrounded by enough hidden firepower to glass their entire homeworld. Humanity had learned to hide weapons in plain sight, disguising military installations as civilian structures and concealing advanced technology within apparently primitive equipment. The deception ran deeper than anyone imagined. Human mining operations throughout the galaxy were actually construction sites for additional planet ships. Each vessel took years to build, but humanity was patient. They knew the galaxy would eventually need protection from forces the Federation was too weak and divided to handle. Captain Amy Brooks commanded the construction of the second planet ship, New Mars. Her engineering teams worked around the clock, building the vessel inside a hollowed-out asteroid while maintaining the appearance of a simple mining operation. Alien cargo ships regularly passed nearby without suspecting that they were witnessing the construction of the most powerful warship in galactic history. Kate reviewed the progress reports from all active construction sites. 7 planet ships were in various stages of completion, each one positioned in star systems the aliens considered worthless. The Federation's arrogance was humanity's greatest advantage. They never looked closely at anything they deemed unimportant. Admiral, incoming transmission from the Federation Council, Ryan announced. Kate listened as Federation bureaucrats debated the latest territorial dispute between member species. Their discussions dragged on for hours while real problems went unsolved. The Federation's greatest weakness wasn't military inferiority, but their inability to make quick decisions when action was needed. Humanity watched and learned. They studied every Federation weakness, cataloged every military limitation, and prepared for the day when the galaxy would need real protection. That day was coming sooner than anyone expected. As Kate looked at the holographic display showing human forces throughout the galaxy, she felt a mixture of pride and anticipation. Humanity had spent 50 years building the most powerful fleet in galactic history, while convincing everyone they were harmless primitives. Soon, the galaxy would learn the truth about human capabilities. Kate only hoped they would be ready for what was coming. 5 years had passed since Admiral Kate Morrison first watched the galaxy dismiss humanity as harmless workers. Now, Commander Amy Brooks stood on the bridge of New Mars, the second completed planet ship in humanity's secret fleet. Through the viewing screen, she watched construction crews putting the finishing touches on their latest creation. From the outside, New Mars looked like any other barren rock floating in the dead system of Kepler 442. The alien survey teams had marked it as completely worthless, with no valuable minerals and no strategic importance. They were wrong about everything. Commander, the 8th ship's hull is now 60% complete, reported Lieutenant Sam Turner from his engineering station. At this rate, we'll have her operational within 18 months. Amy nodded as she studied the construction reports. Each planet ship took enormous resources and careful planning. The vessels weren't just massive weapons platforms. They were complete mobile bases, capable of supporting thousands of crew members for years without resupply. Inside their hollow cores, they carried entire fleets of smaller ships, manufacturing facilities, and enough supplies to wage war across multiple star systems. Captain Ryan Davis contacted them from New Venus, positioned 3 systems away. His voice came through the secure quantum communication network that humanity had developed in secret. The Federation still believed humans were limited to basic radio transmissions. Amy, the supply convoy is ready to depart. We're sending it through the usual trade routes. To anyone watching, it will look like another boring mining operation. Amy smiled at the clever deception. Human freight ships regularly traveled between the mining sites where planet ships were being constructed. The alien customs officials never bothered to inspect the cargo holds carefully. They saw basic industrial equipment and raw materials, exactly what they expected from primitive human miners. What they didn't see were the advanced weapon components, quantum processors, and exotic matter containment systems hidden within specially shielded compartments. Humanity had become experts at smuggling military technology under the Federation's nose. Dr. Kevin White worked in his laboratory aboard New Luna, the mobile research station that appeared to be nothing more than a small mining platform. His team had made breakthrough after breakthrough, developing weapons that made Federation technology look like primitive tools. The new planetary siege cannons are ready for installation, Kevin announced during the daily briefing. Each shot can crack a moon in half. The stellar manipulation devices can destabilize a star's fusion process, causing it to collapse or explode on command. And our new shield technology can absorb the energy from a supernova blast. Amy felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. Humanity was building weapons of incredible power, but they would only use them to protect innocent lives. The Federation's weakness had created a dangerous vacuum in galactic security. Someone needed to fill that gap. On Earth, General Claire Roberts continued her careful performance for alien observers. A delegation from the Zephyrian Trade Consortium had arrived to inspect humanity's military capabilities. Claire made sure they saw exactly what they expected to see. As you can observe, our defensive systems are quite basic, Claire told the tall, blue-skinned aliens as they toured Earth's orbital platforms. We focus on peaceful trade rather than military development. Our weapons are primarily designed to deal with space debris and small asteroids. The Zephyrian inspector, a being named Krultar, made notes on his electronic tablet. Your compliance with Federation military restrictions is admirable. Many species struggle to accept the limitations placed on their weapons development. Claire nodded humbly. We understand that advanced weapons technology must remain with more experienced civilizations. Humans are still learning our place in the galaxy. Meanwhile, hidden beneath the ocean floor, technicians monitored weapon systems that could sterilize the Zephyrian homeworld in minutes. The orbital platforms that appeared outdated to alien eyes contained disguised launchers for planet-killer missiles. Even Earth's civilian communication satellites carried advanced sensors that tracked every alien ship in the solar system. Captain Jake Sullivan reported from New Terra, now positioned near the outer edge of Federation space. His planet ship had been conducting secret patrols, watching for threats that the Federation was too slow to address. We've detected increased military activity from the Vorth Empire, Sullivan announced during the secure conference call. Their fleets are massing near the neutral zone. Intelligence suggests they're planning aggressive expansion into Federation territory. Admiral Morrison studied the tactical displays from her underwater command center. The Vorth Empire had always been a problem, but the Federation's bureaucratic response system made quick action impossible. By the time the Alien Council finished debating and forming committees, entire civilizations could be conquered. What's the Federation's response? Morrison asked. The usual, Sullivan replied with disgust in his voice. They've scheduled a series of meetings to discuss the situation. The first committee meeting isn't for another 3 weeks. Meanwhile, the Vorth are moving battle fleets into position. Morrison made a decision that would have shocked the galaxy if they knew about it. All planet ship commanders, this is a HFY. Priority alert. Begin moving to predetermined positions along the Federation border. Maintain full camouflage protocols. If the Vorth attack innocent worlds, we will be ready to respond. Dr. Lisa Park worked frantically to improve their disguise technology. As more planet ships became operational, the risk of discovery increased. One mistake could reveal humanity's true capabilities before they were ready. I've developed new holographic projectors that can make our ships appear to be natural phenomena, Lisa reported. Gas clouds, asteroid fields, even solar flares. The aliens will see whatever we want them to see. The deception had grown far beyond simple camouflage. Humanity was now actively manipulating galactic politics through carefully placed rumors and false information. Captain Davis had become an expert at spreading stories among spacer communities about mysterious disappearances and unexplained events in remote systems. The Ghost Fleet stories are working perfectly, Davis reported. Pirates and raiders are avoiding the sectors where our ships patrol. They think there's some kind of supernatural force protecting innocent travelers. Amy watched through New Mars's sensors as another human transport approached. To alien observers, it looked like a simple cargo hauler delivering mining equipment. In reality, it carried the final components needed to complete their 8th planet-ship. Commander Brooks thought about the irony of their situation. The galaxy's most powerful military force was being built by the species everyone considered least dangerous. Humanity had turned their perceived weakness into their greatest strength. Soon, it would have enough planet ships to protect the entire Federation territory. The aliens who dismissed humans as primitive workers would discover that their protectors had been hiding in plain sight all along. But first, humanity needed to prove themselves without revealing their full capabilities. The Fourth Empire was about to provide that opportunity. The emergency alert reached Admiral Kate Morrison at 3 in the morning. She rushed to the command center beneath the Pacific Ocean, where dozens of screens showed the horrific images coming from the Kalani system. The peaceful plant-loving aliens were under attack, and their beautiful garden worlds were burning. "Report," Morrison demanded as she took her position at the central command station. "The Fourth Empire launched a surprise attack 6 hours ago," reported Lieutenant Sarah. Bell from the communications station. 3 Vorth battle fleets hit the Kalani homeworld and their 2 colony planets simultaneously. The Kalani have no military forces. They're completely defenseless. Morrison watched the live feeds with growing anger. The Kalani were telepathic, botanists who had never harmed anyone in their 1,000-year history. Their worlds were covered in magnificent forests and flower gardens that they tended with care and love. They communicated through shared thoughts and had no concept of violence or war. Now Vorth soldiers were burning those gardens and capturing Kalani civilians for slave labor. The gentle plant tenders were being loaded onto transport ships like cargo. "What's the Federation's response?" Morrison asked, though she already knew the answer. "They're forming an emergency committee," Sarah replied with disgust. "The first meeting is scheduled for next week. Several council members want to send a diplomatic protest first." Morrison slammed her fist on the command console. Next week would be too late. By then, the Kalani would be extinct or enslaved. The Federation's bureaucratic system was designed for peace negotiations, not rapid military response. "Get me Captain Sullivan on New Terra," Morrison ordered. Jake Sullivan's face appeared on the main screen. Behind him, Morrison could see the bridge of humanity's first planet ship. "Admiral, we're already moving toward the Kalani system. New Terra can be in position within 12 hours. What's your tactical assessment?" "The Vorth have committed serious forces," Sullivan replied. studying his displays. 47 heavy cruisers, 12 battle carriers, and over 300 support vessels. They're confident that no one will challenge them. Morrison made the most important decision in human history. For 50 years, humanity had remained hidden, building their strength in secret. Now innocent lives hung in the balance. Captain Sullivan, you are authorized to intervene. Save the Kelani, but leave no witnesses among the Vorth forces. We cannot reveal our capabilities yet. Understood, Admiral? New Terra is moving to intercept. Captain Sullivan moved his massive ship through space, using the gravitational manipulation systems that Dr. Kevin White had developed. To any observer, New Terra appeared to be a rogue planet drifting slowly through the void. The Vorth sensors detected a large celestial body approaching the system, but dismissed it as a natural phenomenon. Sir, we're receiving distress calls. From the Kelani surface, reported Communications Officer Lisa Grant. They're begging for someone to help their children. Sullivan felt rage building in his chest. The Kelani communicated through plant song, a beautiful telepathic language that sounded like wind through leaves. Now their songs were filled with terror and despair. Tactical. What's the enemy disposition? The Vorth main fleet is in orbit. Around the homeworld, replied Weapons Officer Mike Chun. They're using planet-side bombardment to force surrenders. Smaller fleets are holding the colony worlds. They have no idea we're here. New Terra drifted closer, its rocky exterior showing. No signs of the incredible technology hidden within. The planet ship's sensors mapped every Vorth vessel, calculating firing solutions and escape routes. There would be no survivors to report what they witnessed. Begin the reveal sequence, Sullivan ordered. The planet's surface began to split along. Hidden seam lines. What appeared to be natural rock formations folded back like massive flower petals, revealing gleaming metal beneath. Enormous hangar bays opened, each one larger than a city block. The transformation took only minutes, but it changed everything. My God, whispered Navigator Carol Price. We've been waiting so long for this moment. Vorth Admiral Krexver was reviewing invasion reports when his sensor operator screamed in terror. Sir, the planet is opening. Krexver spun toward the main viewer just as New Terra completed its transformation. The dead rock had become a technological marvel, bristling with weapons that defied comprehension. Energy readings spiked beyond his instrument's ability to measure. What is that thing? Krexver demanded. Before anyone could answer, the first wave of human fighters launched from New Terra's hangar bays. Thousands of small, fast ships poured out like angry insects from a disturbed hive. Each fighter carried weapons more advanced than anything in the Vorth arsenal. All ships target the unknown vessel, Krexver ordered. Fire everything. The Vorth fleet turned their weapons toward New Terra and opened fire with everything they had. Plasma cannons, missile batteries, and energy beams struck the planet ships. Shields in a brilliant display of destructive power. Nothing happened. New Terra's shields absorbed the entire bombardment without even flickering. Impossible, Krexver whispered. New Terra responded with a single weapon test. One of its smaller defensive guns fired a brief burst at a Vorth cruiser. The massive warship simply vanished, vaporized so completely that not even debris remained. The human fighters reached the Vorth fleet and began their attack. What followed wasn't a battle, but a demonstration of superior technology. Vorth ships exploded by the dozens as human weapons cut through their armor like paper. The advanced fighters moved too fast for Vorth targeting systems and struck with impossible precision. Captain Sullivan watched the one-sided engagement from his command chair. Tactical. Ensure no Vorth ships escape this system. We cannot allow word of this to spread. Understood, sir. All escape routes are covered. The battle lasted exactly 37 minutes. When it ended, the entire Vorth invasion force had been destroyed. Not a single ship escaped to carry news of the mysterious planet weapon that had annihilated them. On the Kalani homeworld, the plant tenders emerged from their hiding places to find their gardens still burning, but their enemies gone. They looked up at the stars and saw what appeared to be a large planet hanging in space above them. To their telepathic senses, it felt warm and protective. Elder Silthara, the oldest of the Kalani, reached out with her mind toward the mysterious world. She felt something impossible, the thoughts of thousands of beings filled with compassion and determination to protect innocent life. "The planet spirits have come to save us," she whispered to her people. New Terra began to fold its weapons back into hiding, resuming its appearance as a dead rock drifting through space. Within hours, all evidence of the battle had been cleared away. The Vorth invasion force had simply vanished without explanation. Dr. Lisa Park worked frantically to perfect New Terra's disguise. Federation investigation teams would arrive soon, and they could not suspect what had really happened. "Gravitational readings are normal," she reported. "Mineral composition shows standard Class M planet characteristics. Energy signatures are completely masked." When Federation investigators finally arrived 3 days later, they found a mystery. The Vorth invasion force had disappeared completely. The Kalani spoke of planet spirits and divine intervention. The investigators dismissed this as primitive religious thinking and filed a report about a probable fleet malfunction. Admiral Morrison smiled as she read their conclusions. Humanity had just saved an entire species, and the galaxy remained completely unaware of their true capabilities. But this was only the beginning. The Vorth Empire would not ignore the loss of an entire fleet, and the Federation's weakness was becoming more apparent every day. The time was approaching when humanity would have to reveal themselves completely. But for now, they remained the galaxy's secret guardians, protecting the innocent while hiding in plain sight. 2 years had passed since the mysterious disappearance of the Vorth invasion fleet in the Kalani system. The Federation had filed the incident as an unexplained anomaly and moved on to other matters. They had no idea that humanity was quietly protecting the galaxy from threats they were too weak to handle. Commander Amy Brooks guided New Mars through the asteroid field of the Outer Rim territories. Her planet ship appeared to be just another large asteroid drifting with the cosmic debris. Hidden sensors detected the slave trading operation taking place just beyond the belt. "Tactical report," Brooks requested from her weapons officer. 15. Orion Syndicate ships holding position around a captured civilian transport, Lieutenant Dan Foster replied. "They're transferring approximately 3,000 Rigelian families to slave barges. The victims include many children." Brooks felt her jaw tighten. The Orion Syndicate operated outside Federation space, beyond the reach of official law enforcement. Their slave trading operations had grown bolder in recent years, taking advantage of the Federation's inability to patrol remote sectors. "Signal Captain Sullivan. We're moving to intercept." Captain Jake Sullivan received the transmission aboard. New Terra, positioned in the Spiral Arm territories, where he was preventing a different crisis. The Hakarian government had been planning to release a biological weapon against their ancient enemies, the Volcari people. Both species were Federation members, but their hatred ran deep. "Amy, proceed with the slave trader operation," Sullivan authorized. "We've got our own situation here. Dr. White's intelligence network indicates the Hakarians will release their plague weapon in 6 hours." Sullivan studied the tactical display showing Hakarian research stations throughout their system. The biological weapon they had developed would not only kill every Volcari in the galaxy, but could spread to other species as well. The Federation knew about the tensions, but had been trying to arrange peace talks for months. "Sir, Hakarian defense satellites are tracking our position," reported his navigation officer. "They still think we're just a rogue planetoid passing through their system. Maintain course. We'll deal with their weapon laboratories when we're in range. Meanwhile, in the Federation capital system, Ambassador Zethkar stood before the Grand Council, delivering his monthly report on humanity. The tall, silver-skinned alien spoke with the same condescending tone he had used for decades. Honored council members, I am pleased to report that the humans continue to demonstrate remarkable compliance with all Federation regulations, Zethkar announced. Their industrial output remains focused on basic civilian needs. They have made no attempts to develop advanced military technology or expand beyond their assigned territories. Several council members nodded approvingly. The Centaurian delegate, a being whose species valued order above all else, expressed particular satisfaction. The humans serve as an excellent example of how primitive species can contribute to galactic civilization when properly guided, the Centaurian stated. Their acceptance of their limitations shows wisdom. Earth's official ambassador, Helen Carter, sat quietly in the gallery reserved for junior Federation members. She maintained a carefully neutral expression while listening to the alien's praise. Humanity's supposed weakness. If they only knew that human weapons were protecting them at this very moment, Dr. Kevin White worked in his laboratory aboard New Luna, which was currently disguised as a small research station studying cosmic radiation. His latest project would revolutionize space warfare, but the galaxy would never know it came from human minds. The Planetary Siege Protocol is now fully operational, Kevin announced during the secure conference call connecting all planet ship commanders. When activated, our 7 operational ships can create an impenetrable defensive grid around any star system. Alternatively, we can coordinate our firepower to destroy targets as large as small moons. Admiral Morrison listened from her underwater command center on Earth. The scope of humanity's secret capabilities amazed even her sometimes. They had surpassed every alien technology while convincing the galaxy they were barely capable of spaceflight. What's our current operational status? Morrison asked. New Terra and New Mars are handling the current interventions, reported Captain Ryan Davis from New Venus. New Luna continues advanced research. The remaining ships are positioned to respond to developing threats. Morrison reviewed intelligence reports from across the galaxy. Human agents, disguised as traders and workers, had infiltrated every major civilization. They provided early warning of conflicts that the Federation's bureaucracy would be too slow to address. Admiral, we have a priority alert, interrupted Communications Officer Sarah Bell. Our intelligence network has detected something troubling. The Hegemon Alliance is forming. Morrison felt a chill run down her spine. The Hegemon Alliance was humanity's worst fear realized. A coalition of the galaxy's most aggressive species united under a single military command. Their goal was simple: replace the Federation with an empire based on conquest and domination. Who's involved? Morrison asked. The Vorth Empire. What's left of them after their mysterious fleet losses? The Kadashev hegemony, the Destroyer clans, and at least 12 other militaristic species. Intelligence suggests they view humanity as potential slave labor rather than threats. General Claire Roberts joined the conversation from Earth's surface, where she was conducting another inspection for alien observers. A group of Bazoid peace monitors had arrived to verify humanity's continued compliance with weapons restrictions. The Betazoids just finished their inspection, Claire reported quietly. They complimented our refreshingly peaceful approach to technology. They actually thanked me for humanity's lack of military ambition. Morrison almost laughed. The Betazoids were telepathic, but their mental abilities couldn't penetrate the psychic shielding that Dr. White had developed. They sensed only what humans wanted them to sense: contentment, peacefulness, and complete satisfaction with their role as galactic laborers. General, what's the Federation's response to intelligence about the Hegemon Alliance? Morrison asked. "They're scheduling a committee to study the reports," Claire replied with barely contained frustration. "The first meeting is in 3 weeks. Several delegates want to send diplomatic inquiries to verify the intelligence before taking any action." The Federation's weakness was becoming more dangerous with each passing day. While they debated and formed committees, aggressive species were uniting against them. The Hegemon Alliance understood that the Federation's military was scattered, underfunded, and commanded by politicians rather than soldiers. Commander Brooks completed her mission against the slave traders with typical efficiency. The Orion Syndicate ships had been destroyed so quickly they couldn't even send distress signals. The rescued Rigelian families were safely aboard Federation rescue ships, believing they had been saved by a mysterious equipment malfunction that destroyed their captors. Captain Sullivan finished his own intervention with equal success. The Hacarian biological weapon laboratories had suffered what appeared to be a series of accidents. Explosions and fires had destroyed their plague research, while leaving the rest of their facilities untouched. Both the Hacarians and Valkyrie believed it was divine intervention preventing a war. "Mission accomplished," Sullivan reported. "No survivors, no witnesses, no evidence of human involvement." Admiral Morrison studied the galactic map showing human operations throughout known space. 7 planet ships patrolled different sectors, preventing wars and protecting innocent lives while the Federation remained completely unaware of their actions. "The irony is incredible," Morrison said to her staff. "We're the galaxy's most powerful military force, and they think we're harmless workers." But Morrison knew this situation couldn't last forever. The Hegemon Alliance was gathering strength, and eventually it would move against the Federation. When that happened, humanity would face a choice: reveal their true capabilities, or watch the galaxy fall into darkness. The decision was approaching faster than anyone realized. Intelligence reports indicated the Alliance was planning something big, something that would shake the Federation to its core. Humanity's time as secret guardians was almost over. Soon, the galaxy would learn the truth about the species they had. Dismissed as primitive and weak, Morrison only hoped they would be ready for what was coming. The attack began at exactly midnight, Galactic Standard Time. Across 12 different star systems, Hegemon Alliance fleets dropped out of hyperspace and opened fire on Federation worlds. The coordination was perfect, the timing flawless, and the destruction immediate. That Admiral Kate Morrison watched the horror unfold from her command center beneath Earth's ocean. Emergency signals flooded in from across the galaxy as entire civilizations called for help that would never come in time. "Report from all sectors," Morrison demanded, her voice tight with controlled anger. Lieutenant Sarah Bell's hands shook as she read the incoming transmissions. "Betazed is under heavy bombardment. The Andorian colonies are already overrun. A Tellarite homeworld is requesting immediate evacuation assistance. Admiral, they're hitting everyone at once." Morrison studied the tactical display showing red warning lights across Federation space. The Hegemon Alliance had chosen their targets with deadly precision: major industrial worlds, important trade centers, and planets with large populations but weak defenses. "What's the Alliance strength?" "Over 1,500 ships divided into 12 attack fleets," reported Intelligence Officer Mark Davis. "They're using advanced weapons we've never seen before. Federation defenses are being overwhelmed in minutes, not hours." Captain Jake Sullivan called from New Terra, which was rushing toward the Centauri system, where the Federation capital was under siege. "Admiral, the Alliance isn't just attacking random targets. They're going after the government structure. If they take the capital, the Federation will collapse completely." Morrison felt the weight of 50 years of preparation settling on her shoulders. Humanity had built the most powerful fleet in galactic history while pretending to be harmless. Workers. Now the moment of truth had arrived. How long before the Federation military can respond? Their scattered fleets need at least 6 hours to regroup, Sarah replied. Most of their ships are on patrol duty in peaceful sectors. They weren't prepared for coordinated attacks like this. The screens showed burning cities and fleeing civilians as Alliance forces swept through system after system. The Bolian homeworld fell within 2 hours. The Packold manufacturing centers were captured intact, along with millions of workers who would become slaves. Commander Amy Brooks contacted them from New Mars, which was moving to intercept Alliance forces attacking the peaceful Risian resort worlds. The Alliance weapons are more advanced than our intelligence suggested. They're using some kind of phase disruption technology that cuts through standard Federation shields like they don't exist. Morrison made the decision that would change galactic history forever. All planet ship commanders, this is Admiral Morrison. Authorization code Omega-77. We are moving to full operational status. The time for hiding is over. Dr. Kevin. White joined the emergency conference from New Luna. Admiral, if we reveal our capabilities now, there's no going back. The entire galaxy will know that humanity has been lying to them for decades. The alternative is watching billions of innocent people die while the Federation collapses, Morrison replied. We didn't build these ships to stay hidden forever. We built them to protect lives when no one else could. Captain Sullivan reached the Centauri system first, where 3 Alliance battle fleets were pounding the Federation capital world. The government buildings were already burning, and evacuation ships struggled to escape through the blockade. New Terra approaching target zone, Sullivan announced. Beginning planetary revelation sequence. A massive ship dropped its disguise as it entered the system. What had appeared to be a rogue asteroid suddenly transformed into a technological marvel that dwarfed everything around it. The Alliance fleet turned their sensors toward the newcomer and detected energy readings that broke their instruments. Alliance. Admiral Vextar commanded the capital assault from his flagship, a massive dreadnought that had never been damaged in battle. When his sensor operator reported the impossible readings, Vextar laughed. 1 ship against 3 full fleets? What fools are these humans? Sir, the energy signatures don't match anything in our databases, the sensor operator replied nervously. And sir, it's not just 1 ship. Long-range sensors are detecting similar signatures approaching our other attack fleets. New Terra opened its hangar bays and launched cloud after cloud of fighters. Each small ship carried more firepower than most Alliance cruisers. The human pilots had trained for decades using simulation programs based on captured Alliance technology. All fighters, this is your moment, Sullivan announced over the communication network. Show them what humanity can really do. The first wave of human fighters reached the Alliance blockade around Centauri Prime. What followed wasn't a battle, but a demonstration of technological superiority. Alliance ships that had seemed invincible moments before began exploding in rapid succession. Admiral Vextar watched in growing horror as his forces were systematically destroyed. Impossible. Humans don't have this technology. Our intelligence reports said they were primitives. His tactical officer looked up from his station with fear in his eyes. Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures throughout the galaxy. It's not just here. Human ships are engaging our forces in every attack zone. Commander Brooks reached the Risian system, where Alliance forces were bombing the beautiful resort worlds for sport. New Mars emerged from behind the system's gas giant, like an avenging angel, its weapons already charging. You want to hurt innocent civilians? Brooks muttered as she targeted the Alliance fleet. Let's see how you like real opposition. The Alliance. Forces at Risia lasted exactly 14 minutes against New Mars. Their advanced phase disruption weapons proved useless against human shield technology They had been designed to withstand stellar-level energies Captain Ryan Davis brought new. Venus to the defense of the Andorian colonies, where Alliance ground forces were already rounding up civilians for slave labor. The planet ship's precision weapons eliminated the invasion forces while leaving the civilian areas completely untouched. "This is impossible," whispered Alliance General Krexfor, as his invasion army simply vanished around him. "The humans are supposed to be weak." Across the galaxy, the pattern repeated in system after system. Alliance fleets that had seemed unstoppable were being destroyed by mysterious human ships that appeared from nowhere. The careful intelligence reports that had dismissed humanity as harmless workers were proving to be catastrophically wrong. Dr. Lisa Park worked frantically aboard New Luna to coordinate the communications blackout. All Alliance ships attempting to retreat are being intercepted. No word of our capabilities can reach their home territories yet. Admiral Morrison watched the tactical display as red warning lights turned green across Federation space. Human forces were winning every engagement, but the victory came with a price. After 50 years of secrecy, humanity could no longer hide their true nature. "Admiral, incoming transmission from the Federation Council," Sarah announced. They're demanding an explanation for human military activities." Morrison almost smiled. The Federation leaders who had spent decades treating humanity like useful pets were suddenly discovering that their primitives possessed the most advanced military in the galaxy. "Tell them we'll explain everything after we finish saving their lives," Morrison replied. The Battle of Centauri reached its climax as New Terra engaged Admiral Vextar's flagship directly. The Alliance dreadnought fired everything it had at the human planet ship. The massive energy barrage that should have cracked a moon was absorbed by New Terra's shields without even causing a flicker. Sullivan's response was measured and precise. A single shot from New Terra's main cannon turned the Alliance flagship into expanding gas and debris. "Admiral Morrison," Sullivan announced to the galaxy, "the Centauri system is secure. Alliance forces have been eliminated." Similar reports came in from across Federation space. The Hegemon Alliance's surprise attack had been turned into a complete disaster. Thousands of their ships destroyed, their elite fleets scattered, and their intelligence about humanity revealed as utterly false. But the real shock was yet to come. The galaxy now knew that the species they had dismissed as harmless workers possessed weapons that could destroy entire fleets. A Federation would demand answers, and humanity would have to explain 50 years of carefully maintained deception. The age of secrets was ending. The age of human guardianship was about to begin. 3 days after the Hegemon Alliance's failed assault, their remaining leaders made a desperate decision. If they could not conquer the Federation through surprise attacks, they would destroy the source of their humiliation. Every available Alliance ship began moving toward one target, Earth. Admiral Kate. Morrison watched the massive enemy fleet approach through long-range sensors. Over 10,000 ships of every size and class were converging on humanity's homeworld. The Alliance had gathered everything they had left for one final devastating blow. "They really think this will break our spirit," Morrison said to her staff in the underwater command center. "They still don't understand what they're dealing with." The Alliance fleet was indeed impressive. Massive dreadnoughts that could crack. Moons floated alongside swarms of fighters and bombers. Battle carriers launched wave after wave of attack craft. The combined firepower represented the military might of dozens of aggressive species united in their hatred of humanity. Alliance. Supreme Commander Vexval led the armada from his personal flagship, a moon-sized battle station that had never been defeated. He broadcast his intentions to the entire galaxy as his forces dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. "People of the galaxy, witness the price of deception," Vexval announced. "The humans have lied to us. all pretending weakness while building weapons of mass destruction. Today, we will show them the cost of their treachery. What Thexval found waiting for him shattered every assumption about human military capabilities. Earth was not defended by the pathetic orbital platforms and outdated patrol ships that alien inspectors had seen for decades. Instead, 9 planet-sized warships hung in perfect formation around humanity's homeworld like guardian angels made of metal and energy. "Impossible," whispered Alliance Admiral Korthak, as his sensors tried to process what they were seeing. The intelligence reports said humans had no advanced military technology. Admiral Morrison spoke from New Terra, her voice broadcasting to both the Alliance fleet and the entire galaxy. "You have mistaken our restraint for weakness. You thought our patience meant we were helpless. You believed our peaceful nature made you victims. That ends now." The Alliance fleet opened fire with everything they possessed. 10,000 ships unleashed their weapons in a coordinated barrage that should have destroyed any target in the galaxy. Energy beams, missiles, plasma cannons, and exotic matter disruptors all struck the human formation simultaneously. The light show was spectacular. For several minutes, space around Earth blazed with destructive energy as the Alliance poured everything they had into the attack. When the weapons fire finally stopped, Thexval waited for the destruction to clear, confident that nothing could survive such an assault. The human planet ships hung in space exactly where they had been before, completely undamaged. Their shields had absorbed the entire attack without even dimming. Captain Jake Sullivan smiled grimly from New Terra's bridge. "Our turn," he announced. New Mars demonstrated the true meaning of overwhelming firepower. Commander Amy Brooks targeted the Alliance flagship with her planet ship's main cannon. The weapon that fired was larger than most space stations, powered by controlled stellar fusion that humans had mastered decades ago. Thexval's moon-sized battle station, the pride of the Alliance fleet, simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, the next it was expanding gas and scattered atoms. The psychological impact on the Alliance forces was immediate and devastating. "All ships retreat," screamed Admiral Korthak as he watched the most powerful vessel in Alliance history get vaporized by a single shot. Retreat immediately, but retreat was not possible. Captain Ryan Davis had positioned New Venus to block the main escape route, while the other planet ships moved to encircle the Alliance fleet. The humans had planned this moment for years, and every detail was perfect. "Attention Alliance forces," Admiral Morrison announced. "You came here to destroy Earth and enslave humanity. Instead, you will witness the true power of the species you tried to eliminate." The Battle of Earth lasted exactly 6 hours and 17 minutes. It was the most one-sided conflict in galactic history. Alliance ships that had terrorized peaceful worlds for years were systematically destroyed by weapons they could not comprehend. Human fighters swarmed through their formations like deadly angels, striking with precision that bordered on supernatural. Commander Amy Brooks watched from New Mars as the last Alliance battle group tried to make a desperate escape. "Captain Davis, they're heading for your position." "I see them," Ryan replied from New Venus. "Ending this now." New Venus revealed another human innovation: selective gravity manipulation. The fleeing Alliance ships suddenly found themselves pulled toward the planet ship's artificial gravity well. Those that didn't surrender were crushed by forces that compressed their hulls to the size of marbles. Within hours, the mighty Alliance armada was nothing but debris floating in Earth's solar system. Some ships had surrendered and were being held in containment fields. Most had been destroyed outright. Not a single Alliance vessel escaped to carry word of their defeat back home. The Federation Council convened an emergency session within hours of the battle's end. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered virtually to address what they were calling the human question. The species they had dismissed as harmless workers had just demonstrated the most advanced military technology in galactic history. Ambassador Helen Carter stood before the assembly to address their concerns. Behind her, holographic displays showed the 9 planet ships that had just saved the Federation from total conquest. Honored delegates, Carter began, humanity has operated in secret not to deceive you, but to protect you. Your bureaucratic systems would have prevented us from stopping wars, preventing genocides, and saving innocent lives. The Betazoid delegate, whose telepathic abilities had been fooled by human psychic shielding for decades, spoke first. You lied to us. For 50 years, you made us believe you were weak and primitive. We maintained operational security, Carter replied calmly. While you debated in committees, we were stopping slave traders in the Outer Rim. While you formed study groups, we were preventing biological weapons from being released. While you scheduled meetings, we were saving entire species from extinction. Several delegates began speaking at once, some demanding explanations, others expressing outrage at the deception. The Vulcan representative raised his hand for silence. The logical question is not why humans concealed their capabilities, but why they chose to reveal them now, the Vulcan stated. The answer is obvious. The Alliance threat exceeded what secret operations could handle. Ambassador Zeth Kar, who had spent decades reporting on humanity's supposed weakness, looked physically sick as he addressed the assembly. The implications are staggering. If humans possess this level of technology, what other capabilities have they hidden from us? Carter smiled slightly. We have defended this galaxy for decades while you remained unaware. We have prevented wars you never knew were starting. We have protected innocent lives while maintaining the illusion that you preferred to see. The Andorian delegate, whose colonies had been saved by human intervention just days earlier, stood to speak. My people owe their lives to human protection. If they had not acted, we would all be slaves or dead. Similar testimonials came from representatives of worlds that humanity had secretly protected over the years. The Kelani delegates spoke of mysterious forces that had saved their peaceful people from Vorth aggression. The Rigelian ambassador described the unexplained disappearance of slave traders who had captured their civilians. As the session continued, a pattern emerged. Dozens of species had been saved by mysterious interventions that they now understood were human operations. The galaxy's secret guardians were finally revealing themselves. The question before us is simple, Carter concluded. Humanity has demonstrated both the capability and the will to protect innocent life throughout the galaxy. We can continue to serve as guardians, working openly rather than in secret. Or you can ask us to withdraw and handle galactic security yourselves. The vote was not even close. Only 3 species voted against accepting human protection, and 2 of those were known Alliance sympathizers. The rest of the galaxy formally requested that humanity take responsibility for defending. Federation Space. Admiral Morrison stood on the bridge of New Terra, looking out at the stars that humanity now openly protected. The galaxy's reaction had been better than expected. Some species were angry about the deception, but most were grateful for decades of secret protection. Admiral, incoming transmission from the Kelani homeworld, reported Communications Officer Lisa Grant. Elder Silfara's face appeared on the main screen, her plant-like features glowing with happiness. Great protectors, we have always known. You were watching over us. Our songs speak of planet spirits who guard the innocent. Now we know those spirits have human hearts. Morrison felt a warmth in her chest that had nothing to do with the ship's heating systems. For 50 years, humanity had worked in shadows, protecting lives while receiving no recognition. Now they could serve openly as the galaxy's guardians. Age of Secrets was over. The age of human guardianship had begun, and the galaxy was finally safe.